first session in creating the control rig. Uh, we are going to create some controls for the spine and for the rest of the body. We can actually manually create them by using simple nerves curves and actually shaping them at component editor, using its components. But it will be best to actually automate this process and perhaps focus on ready-made scripts. And they are widely available on the net. One of them is this one called Indie Riggers IDR Controller Tools version 2.2. You can donate some money if you like, and also I think the artist provides it for free as well. And the installation is pretty simple. It gives you these controllers. So that's that. But before we move on to creating controls, one thing we need to kind of wrap up is, first of all, to add the hand joints to the wrist. So we're going to select the palm joint, shift select the wrist, press P, and the same for the other side. Now I know how to create hand controls and with all attributes on one hand and actually mirror that on the other side without actually recreating them all in here, but I wanted to learn things, and that could be a bit of an advanced thing for you. But for now, we'll just leave it there. And the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to start with the spine. So this is how we're going to do it. If I just bring the tools, and I'm going to use a circle shape, which is this one. And we're just going to scale it up a bit and then freeze the transformations. And what you need to do is just, I'm going to just do it for 1, 2, 3, 4. So Control D, 1, 2, 3. And I'm just going to hide them and just leave one of them on for now, which is this one. And what we're going to do, we're going to use the shape of this circle and steal, in other words, if I use the stealing metaphor, we're going to steal the shape of this bone. So when we actually click on the curve, it will actually drive the bone, in other words. So what we do, we turn on the shapes under the display within the outliner, and this is, as you can see, this one is actually the transform node, and this one is the shape node. There is nothing there but the shape. So if we select the shape and then shift select the joint, making sure we've got the right joint, and then if we type this code, let me just put this aside, in the mel command, and that's parent dash R space dash S, that's S for sugar, R for Romeo, that's hyphen. Let me just copy and paste it here for you to see. Okay, we just need to do that. Okay, so whilst the shape is selected, the joint is selected with shift, and then if we type that in the mel command, press enter, look what happens. We actually cut the relationship between the curve and its transform node. Its transform node is still there with all the values, but we're going to delete that. We don't need that. We'll just leave the curve. So that's it. So if I just select the other one, its shape, and then shift select the second joint, go back to the mel command, press the up arrow on your keypad. It'll bring the command back, or you can simply type it again. And that's the second one. And then we select the other one. And then the other one. And we pick the kind of sternum joint. And that's it. That's it. They're all in the right place. We can then turn on our geometry, which is this guy. So, and the idea is that trying to fit these controls to make them user-friendly or animator-friendly. What I'll do first of all, from the side view, I'm going to have this, and I'm going to turn off the joint selection here, and also make sure my mesh is referenced properly so I don't end up clicking on the mesh. So what we could do, go into its component mode, control vertex, And I'm just going to drag these guys forward a bit so it's nicely balanced. Oops. Same thing in here. Okay. And then collectively we can select them all and then scale them in. Because their pivot won't change, it's okay. There's just something like this. That's it. And the next thing to do, we're going to do the the neck. So for that, we're going to create another circle. But this is going to be different. What we would like to do is group the neck control. So I'm just going to freeze the transformation. Let me add the freeze transform onto this tab as well. I don't have to go back to it. So if I hold on to Control Shift, then go to Modify Freeze Transform, I can add the node, the menu item there as well. I don't have to switch between tabs. Here we go. And then I'm going to call this neck 1 underscore CTRL. That's control. Grab its name, copy the name, and then group it to itself. Paste the name underscore GRP. So that's the group node. What I would like to do, I would like to match the transforms of the group to this joint, to the neck joint. So select the group, shift select the neck joint, go to modify, match transformations, match all transformation. So we end up doing that. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to select this guy, shift select the neck joint and go to constraint option box, point option box, reset all the settings, press apply. Actually, sorry, it's not the point constraints that I'm after. I'm going to delete that, or I can press Z to go back. I'm after the orient constraint. So select this guy, shift select the neck and go to constraint orient option box, reset the settings and press apply. So we want the neck control to rotate, to be able to rotate the joint. So that's cool. And the next thing we're going to do, we're going to get, because when we rotate the shoulders or the body, we want the neck control to move with it. We don't want it to stay there. So now picking the shoulder control, or it could even be the shoulder joint, doesn't matter because they're the same now. We're going to click on the neck control grip with the control button. So this guy, control click neck control. We're going to go to constraint point option box. Maintain offset selected. This time, press apply. Let me just see what happened. So it's the shoulder control, control click neck, and reset setting, maintain offset, press apply. And then same thing, shoulder control, or I mean this last controller. And then control click that. And this time we're going to go to orient option box, maintain offset, press apply. So that means when we do that, the neck control moves with it. Okay. Well, you might kind of have a question suggesting that why did we do it this way? Well, the idea is this. If we go to neck control, and if we choose to, let's say, turn off orientation like this. So when you do the walk cycle and when you rotate the character, obviously, say the character is walking and you slightly want to rotate the shoulder and stuff to actually do that walk cycle. You don't want to counter animate the neck. You want the neck to always be pointing this way and not necessarily rotating it. So what we can do, for example, later on when we create attributes, we can actually turn this thing off, orient constraint off, for example. And this is what happens. Look. So the head is always focused and, and also, and the same thing in here. So you don't have to counter animate the head. So yeah, so we're going to, I'm just going to leave it there for now. So both point and orient constraints are on for now. And now let me position the neck control. Again, I'm going to unselect the joint selection. So considering that we're going to have other controllers around here, it's okay to just fine-tune these guys. You don't want it to make it overcrowded. Just going to lift it up a bit. And then I want to rotate it. And don't forget, I'm not actually rotating the actual controller itself. I'm actually in this components because I don't want to change this pivot. And under my tool settings, the rotation tool settings, I'm going to click on steps, snap relative 15 degrees. So I can just make sure that it's rotated 15 degrees. That's it. Okay, so this guy is done. And the next thing we're going to do now, look, its pivot is there. In fact, we can even pull it down a bit. Like so. Cool. And the next thing we're going to do, we're going to go back to what we were doing before. I'm just going to delete this extra stuff. Let me just close this all. Okay. We're going to create another control, another circle. We don't need the shapes anymore, so that's good. Let's select this guy, freeze transform. Actually, let's have it this way. Freeze transform, and then go to its shapes this time. Select the circle shape. Click on mid neck, which is this guy, or neck 2. Bring back our parenting script or the command. Press apply. That's good. And now we can fine tune our curve. Step snap is still on. Something like this. In fact, I could just go back and reset the rotation tools and manually rotate this. And move it up a bit. Oops. Yeah, we need to really be careful with those joints. That's it. So now we've got all these. That's cool. And we also need one for the head joint. A cube tend to work well. That could also work if you like, and there are others we could try. Let me see. Arrows showing that the neck can kind of rotate in all directions. We've got a cylinder. I'll leave it with the cube for now. I think that should work. Okay, so let's put it back to where it was. There we go. Freeze the transformation. And then I'm gonna shift select the head, which is this one. Actually, I made a mistake. Let me just go back to its shape. The shape is still on. And then shift select the head joint and bring the arrow, the code back. And that's it. Now we can go manually position this. Like so. Something like this. I really don't want this to be a hurdle for the animators when it comes to controlling the facial elements. So I just want to try and do as much as I can. Maybe something like that. We can even do this, but I think it's not too much. There's no need to play with this too much. Okay. Now that we've got that, we kind of got all those sorted, and the only thing left is this clavicle, this sternum control almost. And because this is in charge of all the shoulders in a way, we could do something fancy with this one. Snap, snap. Something like this. And I'm going to just press D to rotate the axis, the pivot's axis, so I can easily do something like this. Like so. And then move these two up. It's almost like a shoulder pad, if you like. Again, we're thinking ahead. When we have other things coming up, we don't want these to okay. And the next ones are the clavicle ones.